So Thomas, thank you so much for speaking with Autocar Professional. Uh, just want to start off this conversation with, bringing up the point of SDVs and or the software-defined vehicles, which is the emerging megatrend right now across the globe in the automotive industry. So your broad thoughts about it, how do you see it sort of enabling or transforming the automotive space? And from the perspective of Siemens, what sort of new opportunities do you see in that?
Sure. So again, thanks, Mayank. Pleasure speaking to you this morning again. So I think you brought up a very important topic, SDV. So all the automakers are talking about it, whether it's four-wheeler or two-wheeler, are talking about this topic. So to me, if I just step back and then say, what's a SDV? If I, in my understanding, so that we're on the same page on this, I think a SDV is any vehicle that's basically managing its operations, ability to add functionality and enable new features, primarily or let's say entirely through software. I think what's happening is that the auto industry is moving traditionally from a electrical electronics architecture. Architecture consisting of several ECUs. The ECUs could be, let's say, the lighting ECU, the AC and climate ECU, the braking ECU, to over a multi-bus gateway, separate ECUs over a multi-bus gateway to a centralized high-performance computer, HPC, with a zone-based architecture. I think to accomplish a software-defined vehicle concept. I think, in my view, is that if I simplify it, let's say, look at an Apple iPhone, like, for example, you've got multiple units, but, the OS is something that, really controls the whole thing in a very crude way. That's what I think it is there. So I think also the fact that, software-defined vehicles are more connected, with, let's say, features like telematics, V2X, vehicle to everything, which is again a very familiar term that we're getting used to, communication and connectivity to the cloud. I think that's where I think that's happening. So if I summarize it, I think fundamentally it's centralized ECU, moving away from electrical electronics to a software-centric high-performance computer, and then vehicle as one system. I think that's sort of in the way I see it. And I think it also probably gives the auto manufacturer more control on what he wants to do, rather than probably depending on, let's say earlier people used to develop, the hardware and the software versus, and then, moving to one sort of, traditional architecture to a vehicle as a one system architecture. And of course, that's in my view, that's basically what the SDV in my mind is. So, I hope you agree with that piece as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the broad concept of SDVs. You're shifting back or shifting away from very staggered or differentiated ECUs to zonal architectures and concentrated high performance computing systems.
Correct.
Right. Correct. So Thomas, again from a Siemens perspective, how do you see this trend giving you opportunity in this entire transition or in this new evolution of the industry that we are currently seeing?
Sure. So if I look at what's the benefit for the industry, then I'll come to the Siemens piece of it. Like, sure. For example, I think fundamentally, it gives us the autonomous and the assisted driving assistance capability.
Right.
It offers sustainability, security and safety, electrification, let's say a digital subscription, and of course, connectivity, as I talked about. I think, when I let's say look at it a little more in detail, I think, based on, let's say, when I talk about autonomous, it talks about full self-driving subscriptions, over the air updates, because, you're really not, for example, there was a nice example of where I think one of the leading car manufacturers is able to, let's say, since the battery and the system were standard, they were able to offer more, let's say, juice when they needed it, sort of a thing, over the air. So I think that's an interesting concept. Then, of course, user-based insurance, and again, as I said, paid to boost engine power. That's something that is there. So I think my view is that software will ultimately, account for about 90% of the future innovations in the car. And if I look at, let's say, what Siemens is doing is, given the fact that we probably got the most comprehensive digital twin, based on our Siemens accelerator portfolio, I think we probably extremely well positioned to really support this whole SDV concept. Because I think the transformation of the car, as I said, from a hardware-based product to a electronic gadget, literally, like software on wheels, has led to this, had led development. And I think expectations from, let's say, automotive consumers, because again, if you look at it, additional features like, for example, vehicle complexity is increasing, safety is increasing. So the whole transformation is there. And I think we, given the fact that we are really poised to take advantage of that through the Siemens digital twin and the digital, comprehensive digital twin, I think I would call it as what's a chip to city. Let me start there. And if I look at the subsystems of the car, whether it is the ECUs, if I look at the, let's say, the way the build-up is, if I look at let's say a level 0 up to level 5, ECUs is the base. Then you've got the networks and the electronic platform. Then you've got the computing and software platform. Then you've got the actual vehicle, and then you've got the environment and sensors. So across these portfolios, whether it's the ECU digital twin, whether it's the electronic digital twin, whether it's a software digital twin, vehicle digital twin, and the SDV digital twin, are solutions which are, let's say, if I look at, the sub solutions, if I just get into a little bit of naming products, I think our capital system and software, which is a capital product, which is which was part of the Mentor Graphics acquisition, that along with our simulation tool, which is a Sim Center, along with our Polarian, which is our software development, the system development tools, and Team Center, form the bulwark of this whole of this whole system. And of course, if I look at, let's say, even basic design, with NX, with our basic design. So I think we are playing a definitely key role in the whole in this whole SDV, because I'm talking about subsystems, and I'm just giving you a very broad framework of what is there. But fundamentally, the Siemens accelerated portfolio and the fact that it's a comprehensive digital twin, which is open, flexible, and connect to various partners. Because again, I may have to work with, let's say, other systems. So how open am I and flexible am I to connect to some of the other systems is something that how we are playing a role.
Right. So basically, there is interoperability between your offerings and some other solutions which are typically used during the engineering and development of these solutions. So if I'm understanding it rightly, so basically, as Siemens, you're sort of enabling the development and design of all these futuristic solutions which the industry is already deploying, or is it in the stages of deploying in the near future?
No, we are very much involved in this, because I think we are having conversations with customers. I think the market is evolving. Again, like if you look at EV as well, if I look at probably last year was not a very good story for the EV industry, but I think given what we're seeing in the market with the IPOs and the unicorns that are coming up, I think it's definitely picking up space. I see a lot more interest, a lot more conversations in the at the operational and the boardrooms about these conversations, and we're very much ready with our solutions to really talk about how we can help some of these customers make the transition to, let's say, from a let's say a federated system to one system. Right.
So give me a perspective, Thomas. How are you engaged right now with the potential customers in the Indian market across vehicle categories, and I'm sticking specifically to automotive here. And what role is Siemens India also playing in the global scheme of things when we talk about all these futuristic technologies?
Okay, from an India system, like for example, given the fact that we have a fairly large development center in India, which is as our CEO quoted, probably the largest facility outside of the US in India, across multiple locations. We are definitely playing a key role in the development of these applications, and whether it is Team Center, whether it's NX, whether it's Capital, I think these are definite, solutions that we are helping develop for the global market. So it's very much a part of that. So that's definitely there. And from a customer standpoint, I think there are multiple conversations that are going on. It could be, for example, Autocar did a very nice article on our story with Ather, for example, Ather Energy, in January, end January, where we talked about how Siemens and it's the Siemens and the digital twin and the accelerator portfolio helped Ather to, let's say, transform to what they are today. It started off with a small investment in the Team Center portfolio, then moved into the simulation to really look at, the computational fluid dynamics, applications. Then they said, okay, let me look at the noise and vibration. So they look at test solutions in that. And then finally they said, okay, I'm going to, sort of use it to also enhance my design capabilities with an X. So I know right from, Team Center, Sim Center, Team Center, backed by our test solutions is something that, probably Aether uses end to end. And now today, they're also, as I think was quoted by Swapnil, he also is looking at, at the manufacturing, at how can he enhance this, capability with the, manufacturing aspects as well. So I think so that's an example of a conversation. There are other conversations also which are happening again with some of the, two-wheeler and the four-wheeler manufacturers. Okay. But what we must appreciate is that, some of them have, let's say, it's important for us to be able to, you talked about the fact that we have to be open and flexible, you use the word, interoperability. That's important. And that's probably a strength of ours because our message to the, our customers is we're interoperable, we're open. I'm not, I don't think we go and tell them that, hey, rip and replace everything with, let's say my solutions. No, I'll have to coexist with other solutions because it's also maybe a best breed that will work versus one size fits all. So I think that's something that we're also talking. So these are conversations that are happening with two-wheelers and four-wheeler manufacturers in the country.
Okay. And the future growth avenues, Thomas, you see not just with your existing customers, but you're also seeing this coming from the young age startups, the newer entrants into the market, which are coming in, especially with the electrification transition.
Absolutely. So I think, the way I look at it is, I think the two-wheeler market in India probably got off to a flying start. I think, with Ola, with Aether, with Simple Energy, with, all those people, all those. So they were probably greenfields. So it was probably an easier conversation saying that, okay, here's a portfolio. What would you like to start with? What do you like to take with? Again, it's important that, some customers are comfortable starting, step by step, in a way. So, it's also modular because we're also offering a modular solution through, because we go to market with digital threads today. It's completely, I have this whole digital thread that I can start with based on any industry that I want to go to. So I start with the digital thread. I can take it in phases, and then I build it to the whole future. Now again, it can be a model based system, an MBSE concept where I can start and do that as well. Now that's one. Now while I go to the four-wheeler manufacturers, I'm probably working with the brownfield as well because they may be looking at a existing facility, existing operation to then, build their capability on the EV side. So that also is happening. So to me, it's a balance, the greenfield and the brownfield to really work with. And again, the fact that, because we're able to offer a real world, which is our traditional Siemens offering, which is our, our controllers, our motion control, our controllers, the digital industries piece of it, along with the software. So we're able to sort of give a customer a whole experience of marrying the real world with the digital world, and then coming to offer that whole digital twin before they actually build a product. So that's how we are actually going to market.
Understand. And also, a related question to that is, with electrification, we are also seeing this, accelerated push for local electronics manufacturing in India. Now companies are looking at not just assembling, but also making the cells in India. So you have an entirely new domain, that is going to come up now with factories being set up on, cell manufacturing. And then you also have electronics manufacturing, the PLI scheme, which is sort of a great enabler towards this. So again, do you see that as also a big avenue for you for all your digital industry solutions?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Mayank, a very, very valid point, because I think the PLI scheme, and I was looking at some data yesterday, I think the amount, across 14 sectors, I think the PLI scheme, I think there was a substantial amount of money that's basically the government is, already given for this PLI across 14 sectors. And again, we've got solutions. Again, the fact that, we have solutions for the electronics and semiconductor industry. The mentor graphic solutions, that along with our own manufacturing execution solutions or our design solutions or a simulation, all these transcend across that. And I think you're right, because I think there's sort of interoperability within industry also. I think companies in India are now setting up saying, okay, can I service a auto industry with a semiconductor facility. That
Right.
also we are seeing. So when we're
Right.
talking to some customers, they are also saying, okay, one big chunk of let's say supply will go to the auto industry. So even that's happening. So we're engaged there also. So
Right.
I think the good thing is that when people understand that we've got solutions that transcend industries, which probably can be implemented for the auto industry as is the semicon industry, then I
Right.
think it sort of works well. And
Right.
again, solutions like our electronic supply chain solution, which is supply frame. Again, the solutions like that, which we supply frame was acquired about 2 years back. So again, solutions like that also help in that discussion with our customers.
Right. Right. Now, coming to the business part of it, Thomas, now if you could just, tell me about, we're also seeing this transition towards subscription-based services. And I'm not talking about like a car per se here. I'm talking from your perspective, for your solutions. Now, customers might just be, wanting that solution maybe for a per hour basis, a per day basis like that. So does that for you change completely your business models as well? And how is that transformation sort of happening in the industry right now? Because of everything is now on the cloud, right?
So again, a very interesting question, and again, you brought me to a favorite topic. In fact, I was talking to a set of our partner community yesterday at Pune. So I think we announced to the capital markets that we're actually moving to the cloud in FY21. I mean, when I say FY21, our FY21, which is October of 3 years back. We'll probably complete 3 years back. So this is the third annual. I mean, it will be the 3 years completion by the time we end September. So we said that we will offer a cloud. I mean, we will go to the cloud 3 years back. We announced to the capital markets, and we said, okay, they obviously, there are implications when you make this announcement in the capital markets. And I'm very proud to say that we've been extremely successful in that whole journey. So we just announced results. Corporation has announced results. In fact, if you look at the software, I think we grew our annual recurring revenue by 15%, and also we are now. Our cloud annual recurring revenue is 39%. Our CFO, Timo Nentvich, announced this to the markets about 4 days back. So we so over the last 3 years, 40% or 39% of our business is a cloud ARR, and we've grown 15% ARR. And also 1.7 times we've grown 1.7 times is the growth on the cloud ARR since we started. So that gives you a sense of how we have moved, because we also have moved as the market required. I mean, as the market needed. We've also been sensitive to customers who wanted to take the transition slowly. So we said, okay, if this is the transition that you want, so we will move into that. So as you said, we do have models which are, let's say, annual based. It could be a year, it could be 2, it could be 3. We also have on-demand offerings that we have on subscription. So we are sensitive to the varying needs of customers. But I am again extremely proud and happy to say that we've been able to move that whole journey to the cloud, which is what is happening in the industry also. Because I think people talking about subscription, people talking about, as I said, right, like a subscription-based model for a car, and then obviously they expect us to also offer that on a project basis or on a subscription basis. So yes, that transition has also happened well.
Right. And if we specifically talk about the Indian market, Thomas, so what sort of growth are you anticipating or have you projected for this financial year?
Okay, so I'll probably quote our CEO Tony Hamilton when he actually met with he just said, I'm excited about the growth in India. He talked about automotive, he talked about aerospace and defense, and he talked about consumer product and CPG industry. So he said about that. He said, I know that India is my biggest development center outside of the US, from a location, number of people perspective. But he said, I'm more interested in what's going to happen in the market, and given the exciting growth that the Indian economy offers, the promise and the potential. So he did talk about the growth. And again, I think he did talk about the growth over the past few years in India as well. So we are, Mayank, I must say that we are, reasonably confident that the market is, there is a demand in the market. I think the potential, whether it's, because I think 2/3 of our economy is consumption, is internal consumption. So obviously people are spending more money on, buying new cars. I think they want, more more features for the same price, and at the same time, so I think that's something that's exciting. So I think we are poised for the growth as we have done in the past.
On that note, Thomas, thank you so much for this insightful conversation. Really appreciate your time speaking with Autocar Professional. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mayank.